Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, we are from Group 1. We want to explain about Old English. Easy for me, easy for you, and easy for us. I will talk in bahasa. Jadi, periode Inggris kuno atau yang biasa kita sebut Old English dalam sejarah dan sastra Inggris mengalami beberapa tahap perkembangan karena adanya penyerbuan atau invasi dari suku-suku bangsa lainnya. Pada mulanya, Kepulauan Britania hanya dihuni oleh campuran dari berbagai ras, namun yang paling dominan adalah bangsa Iberia yang berambut kehitam-hitaman. Orang-orang Iberia tersebut melampaui tingkat peradaban, dari zaman batu hingga zaman logam, dari tingkat kehidupan berburu sampai ke tingkat bercocok tanam secara menetap. Peninggalan-peninggalan peradaban Iberia adalah Maiden Castle atau pemukiman berbenteng, dan Stonehenge dari batu-batu besar tempat pemujaan. Pada abad ke-7 sebelum Masehi sampai ke-3 sebelum Masehi, datanglah serbuan dari bangsa Celt yang semula merupakan bangsa pengembara. Semula mereka mendiami Jerman Barat Laut dan Belanda, kemudian menjajah ke seluruh penjuru Eropa. Hubungan antara orang-orang Celt dan orang-orang Iberia adalah hubungan antara penjajah dan dijajah. Tapi kemudian budaya mereka bercampur. Orang-orang Celt hidup dan bercocok tanam, beternak, berburu, dan mencari ikan. Mereka tinggal dalam perkampungan kecil yang disebut treffs. Orang-orang Celt menganut aliran paganisme. Mereka percaya adanya roh-roh yang mendiami bukit-bukit, gua-gua, sumber air, dan objek lainnya. Peninggalan-peninggalan Roma setelah berkuasa di Inggris antara lain Hadrian Wall, yaitu sebuah tembok pertahanan yang dibangun sepanjang perbatasan Inggris Utara pada tahun 12 Masehi. Pembangunan jaringan jalan raya yang menghubungkan sistem perbentengan yang masing-masing dijaga tentara reguler yaitu Pax Romana. Dalam permulaan abad ke-5, tentara Roma ditarik seluruhnya dari Inggris karena keadaan di pusat pemerintahan. Roma sudah merosot dan goyah. Kemerosotan tersebut dikarenakan oleh berbagai masalah ekonomi dan politik, dan juga serangan-serangan dari suku Germanik. Orang-orang Germanik yang terdiri dari suku Jute, Engel, dan Saxon lebih dikenal dengan nama suku Anglo-Saxon. Meskipun suku Anglo-Saxon memiliki nama yang berbeda-beda, mereka mempunyai kebudayaan dan bahasa yang hampir sama. Mereka menyembah dewa yang sama, yaitu Thor dan Woden. Mereka juga memiliki sastra lisan yang sama, yaitu Beowulf.
Characteristics of Old English literature. Old English or Anglo-Saxon literature can be divided into two groups, name, prose, and poetry.
Old English prose works were pioneered by Elhim, Bede, and Elquin. Their work was written in Latin and translated into English, which was pioneered by King Alfred, with the aim of restoring the cultures of the English nation, which were destroyed by repeated attacks by the Scandinavians. Elhim 650 to 709 was a graduate of Canterbury. Besides writing prose, Elhim is mostly known as a poet. In his writings, Elhim uses a lot of figurative language, such as explication, metaphors, allusions, and so on. For example, the golden eagle of virtues, the white jewels of merit, the purple flowers of modesty, the swan-like whiteness of old age, the opening of the gate of dumb silence, the shining lamps of chastity in which the oil of modesty burns. The examples above are metaphorical language because Elohim compares two different things or ideas: knuckles versus virtues, jewels with godness, purple flowers with modesty, swan with old age, and so on. Venerable Bede, 672 to 735, was a Christian theologian and historian of his day. His diverse knowledge and interests are reflected in his major works, such as a treatise on indications, the Christian science of century chronology written based on the study of astronomy. Bede's most interesting works are historical and biographical works. His book entitled Ecclesiastical History is the best work of his time. Bede's most interesting works are historical and biographical works. His writings are based on a love of truth and in-depth document research. Bede's conception and writing style is impersonal, clear, and simple. And what really stands out is the level of intelligence. His book, entitled Ecclesiastical History, is the best work of his time. The history book was written from a religious perspective. In the period between the glory of Julius Caesar and 731, which is 4 years before Bede died. The main themes of the book include the issue of conversation and the power competition between Rome and Ireland, which was eventually won by the Roman Church.
Poetry. Poetry was generally more popular than prose in ancient England because of its shorter, more singular form. In addition, poetry was easily spread by word of mouth before written culture developed. Therefore, in ancient England, the literary work that was spread wasn't prose, but poetry, namely Beowulf. This work is a poem that consists of 3,000 lines and belongs to the type of dark epic, which is a story of heroism that has long lived among that people, and its creator is unknown. Beowulf defeats and kills a powerful creature, the inhabitant of the coastal swamps, named Grendel, who has made the land of King Hrothgar unsafe. Years later, Beowulf himself was killed in his struggle to save his country from an equally formidable enemy, a fire-breathing dragon. Other Anglo-Saxon poetry is shorter than Beowulf and is generally an expression of Germanic feelings for the things that touch a city, life as an outcast, and the livelihood of a singer minstrel. For example, the Battle of Maldon and the Battle of Brunharberg painfully depict the battles that heroic Anglo-Saxon waged both in victory and in defeat. More than half of Anglo-Saxon poetry is religious poetry. Most of those poems are translations and adaptations of the books of the Old and New Testaments, stories of saints, and devotional and didactic verse. Most of the poems originate from the regions of Northumbria and Mercia and were created in the 7th and 8th centuries. Old English poetry is structured differently from modern English poetry. In general, Old English poetry has the following characteristics. A. The metric unit consists of a single line, which regularly contains 4 stressed syllables, and the number of unstressed syllables is uncertain. B. Each row is divided into 2 sections, each with 2 hard phrases. C. 2 or 3 stressed syllables on each line begin with the same consonant sound, namely the alliteration. D. Old English poetry usually doesn't rhyme.
The period of Old English in English history and literature revolved due to invasions from the tribes. The relationship between Charles and Iberian is the relationship between colonial and colonizing cultures. But then there best cultures at the beginning of the 5th century. The Roman army was combated with arms from England because the condition of the Roman government centers had deteriorated. The decline was due to economic and political problems, as well as attacks from Germanic tribes. Old English literature is also known as Anglo-Saxon literature. Anglo-Saxon literature works were preserved in written from thanks to Christians monks who collected and wrote this literature product. Old English divided into groups, rhymes, prose, and poetry. Old English process from written in Latin and translated into English were pioneered and making effort with the aim of restoring the culture of the English nation that was destroyed by repeat attacks by Scandinavians. BDS English nation that was destroyed by repeat attacks and Scandinavian BDS concept and writing style is impersonal, clear and simple, and the most prominent is the level of intelligence. In general, Old English poetry has features such as metric units consisting of one line, which regularly contain one stressed syllable and an uncertain number of unstressed syllables. Each line is divided into parts, each with two strong emphases, two or three syllables, and then emphasis on each line began with the same consonant sound, namely alliteration. Old English poetry usually doesn't rhyme.
That's all from Group 1 about Old English literature. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.